It's time for our daily dose of cope, and we have Panthero Blackstone filling in at the news anchor desk for the Leopards News Network, a serious anchor for serious times. Let's jump right into these stories. This post in the Leopards Ate My Face subreddit is titled, "Trumpers are starting to realize they may be on the losing end of the whole Trump scam." This was on the Fox News website. So this person, Kate Julia 42, says, if the stock market doesn't turn around, the Democrats will start winning again. People must depend on their 401ks and right now are losing thousands, including me. Since I am retired, I can't live on Social Security, saved for 50 years and fearful of losing it all. God bless the USA, and they forgot, and nowhere else, saying, I am a Trump fan, but agree, and prices are still high while our retirement is dwindling. JJM29 says, and we should all be afraid for retirement. Now, the person at the bottom, Commie Lib Trigger, says the stock market is doing just fine. So you have somebody that's just out here is winning to trigger the libs. And that's what many of them see as winning, is triggering the libs. But they're triggering the libs, but also their retirement is going down, 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 down. I do realize everybody's retirement is going down. It's just funny that these people actually thought that they were going to be just fine and that prices were going to go down and the economy was going to do swimmingly under Trump. That's the reason why I laugh at these people. I don't laugh at other people. The OP that posted this says, people who voted for Trump are starting to realize that prices are not going down and that the economy is not improving, and in fact, it's getting worse. Skating Raccoon says, note that literally all they care about is if the other side wins. Nothing about what's actually right for the country or what will benefit average Americans the most. Just all about making sure the Democrats don't win. Mr. Ed Nigma says, it's a team sport, red versus blue. The Feshi says, this is why they are so confused when we cut them out of our lives for voting to deperson us and our friends. To them, it's like ending a friendship because they support the team from the town to the east instead of the one from the town to the west. It is definitely bigger than that because this is everybody is losing. So why are they so mad that we don't all want to come together when they did this to all of us? The Feshi continues with, they literally can't associate outcomes with political choices. It's wild when you hear them say things like, I sure wish I had more days off so I could take my kid to a ball game. And then they get angry when you suggest they vote for a party that supports more workers' rights like days off. Because how could cheering for your local sports team change your job? Representative A says, very good observation. INS Stop Angela says, it would be a fascinating psych study. Red voters versus blue. Intelligence, problem solving, empathy, narcissism, ability to extrapolate. Exclude evil geniuses like Dick Cheney, but query the rank and file. I think I know what the results would be. Years ago, the Annenberg Foundation did a study of W supporters. The researchers had never seen anything like this before. His voters were incapable of absorbing new information about 9/11, no matter how thoroughly and repetitively the facts were laid out. Thus, W's voters were pro-Iraq war. Thanks, faux news. This one's titled, Trump voter loses sponsored Haitian son, and it's a long one. I'm going to try to get through this. This is a Facebook post from Ralph Morris. He says, Deanna and I received some devastating news from the Department of Homeland Security Friday evening concerning our Haitian son that we've sponsored for 12 years. I'm attaching my letter that explains our journey and also our confusion as to the messages that are coming out of our government. The letter is long, but please take time to read it through. We are seeking help from anyone who might have a contact that can help us. Please repost this in any way you feel might help us in this fight to correct this injustice. To anyone who will listen, my name is Ralph Morris. I'm the senior pastor of VCU Church just outside of Kansas City, Missouri. We have 2 locations, one in Missouri and a satellite location in Marshall, Arkansas, that I have the privilege of serving. My wife and I have a sponsored son from Haiti that we met 12 years ago. I serve on the board of New Hope Missions International, based out of Port Lucie, Florida. We operate 4 schools with an enrollment of 2,000 children and 7 churches. Our son's name is Wendy Desvarez and is now 28 years old. He was orphaned when we met him. We paid for him to attend school and take English lessons these past 12 years. Wendy worked for our organization, helping to facilitate with our child sponsorship programs that support children in Haiti with education, food, and medical care. We promised him that we would bring him to America if he would work hard and learn English. When the gang violence escalated and they took control of the government of Haiti, the U.S. Embassy was closed on August 8th, 2023, and he was unable to obtain a visa. He applied for refugee parole documentation and was approved. More stuff about the process for them. I'm not going to read all of this because, like I said, it's a lot. But it says, I'm going to start here. We have done everything legally, paid all the fees required, and worked diligently to abide by the law. But it seems as if that doesn't matter to Homeland Security. On March 28th, 2025, we received a letter from Homeland Security advising us that Wendy's parole status has been terminated and that he must leave the country by April 24th, 2025, simply because he is a Haitian national. I am and have always been a Republican. I have supported President Trump in all 3 elections. As a pastor of 2 congregations, I have asked others to do the same, but now I am being forced to question the integrity of decisions that hurt innocent people. I'm going to pause right there. He has encouraged people to vote for President Trump. This is the reason why these people do not deserve to have no taxes. They need to be taxed. These people are a political arm of the Republican Party. They need to be paying taxes. Is it true or not that if you have come to the USA legally, abide by the laws of this land, that you can remain and continue the citizenship process? Why has DHS changed its position and decided to deport vetted immigrants? Please help me understand the truth. Innocent people are being caught up in this vacuum of deportation. Any sane person would agree with the deportation of illegals, especially if they are criminals and gangbangers. But DHS knows exactly where Wendy is, what he is doing, and that he is abiding by all the regulations required of someone seeking citizenship. What is the truth? The truth is, if you look at this picture, he is the only black face. That means that they are trying to get rid of the non-white illegal immigrants. They need to know and understand this. I don't know what is hard about this. There's no what is the truth. They're trying to get rid of black and brown people. The person that posted this says, 1, conservative, Trump voting pastor is facing the consequences of his voting record. Voted for Trump, whose VP spread vile lies about the Haitian community and is deporting migrants who were granted permission to enter the United States. His sponsored/adopted son must leave the country by April 24th because he does not have a green card. So that's where it is. That is the short truth of it all. I did go to Facebook to try to find the post. It looks like he has already pulled the post for some strange reason. So this is an article from PBS. It says trade wars and federal cuts complicate lives of some Nebraskans who put Trump back in office. I'm not going to do this whole article, but this person, Lisa, is talking to a woman named Leslie Nielsen. And Leslie Nielsen is a microbiologist, or was a microbiologist with the FDA. Lindsay reads some of the email that they sent to her when she was getting fired. It says, your ability, knowledge, and skills do not fit the agency's current needs, and your performance has not been adequate. And to that, Lisa says, Lindsay was fired from her job at the FDA, then temporarily reinstated by a court order. She's now on administrative leave. What's it feel like even reading that now? She says, it's still very, very hurtful. It's a lie completely. Lisa, the interviewer, continues with, her performance reviews portray a top employee in a microbiology job affecting millions, approving tests for COVID, the flu, and other fast-moving and changing diseases. Like nearly 60% of Nebraska, she voted for Trump and initially was glad he won. And then here's Lindsay speaking. What happened afterwards, though, is not something I expected. I did not expect there to be such a massive, quick, rash cut to the federal government. I really expected it to be logical. She expected a Trump administration to be logical. And I need to know and understand how she got a microbiologist degree or whatever kind of degree she got, thinking that Trump was going to be logical. I need to know and understand. Right, Persephone? Right. Oh, you can't see them. So y'all should know that I am agnostic. I am not religious at all, but I was born and raised in the church. I do want you to listen to Pastor Jamal Bryant. He has a word for today. He has a word on today. I need y'all to listen and feel the spirit move through you. Right, Persephone? Right. The leopards were feasting. God was like speaking or something. God, goddess, somebody was speaking through Pastor Jamal Bryant in this sermon. So go ahead and listen to it. Let me know what you think. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
I feel bad for the brown people who thought they were better than black people, who are now facing deportation. I feel bad for the white women who didn't realize they were the real DEI hires and were going to lose their job. I feel bad for Columbia and Emory and Johns Hopkins losing $300, $400, and $800 million, but HBCUs ain't never had that kind of money. I feel bad for the Tesla dealerships that got to close because they lost $900 billion since December because they forgot it ain't electricity, it's people that power this nation. I feel bad for them. A little bit. Until I remember the words of that black sister with cornrows. Until you do right by me, nothing you do is gonna work. I tried to feel bad. I feel bad for those who persecute you for righteousness' sake, for they don't know that the kingdom of heaven is about to be yours. Today, I'm telling you, feel bad for your enemies because he's about to prepare a table in the presence of your enemies. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, the uncertified co-president of the United States, recently said on the Rogan podcast that the fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. Did you hear what the richest man in the world said? He said the fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. The inability to feel for others is at the root of what you are seeing take place in America right now. They don't have any feelings for the 5.8 million blacks that are getting ready to be purged off of Medicare. They don't care, have no feeling for the 64% of those who are on Medicaid that are black because the wealthy have private doctors. They don't care about immigrants being criminalized because as a white South African, he has a white privilege while melanated Africans can't get a visa. Don't tell me you feel me if you gotta put on gloves to touch me. Psychology Today recently published an article by Dr. Douglas Lieber that has boldly pronounced that America has a newly classified disease. And the new classified disease is empathy deficit disorder. Empathy deficit disorder. It's what happens when you are unable to step outside of yourself in order to step into somebody else's experience. Empathy is different from sympathy because sympathy is understanding somebody's pain, whereas empathy is identifying with somebody else's pain. I used to tell young preachers, when you go comfort somebody whose mother has just died, don't tell them you know how they feel when your mama's still alive. I am not asking you to feel sorry for me. I'm asking you to get in the foxhole with me. You got to be able to feel what I feel. And if you can't feel what it is that I feel, then you will stand in the jury box and not the witness stand. If you don't understand what it feels like to be black in America, don't you pass judgment. You got to know what it feels like for my heart rate to accelerate anytime I see police pull up behind me. You got to know what it feels like to be vulnerable as a woman, to walk through a parking lot by yourself and you hear footsteps coming up behind you. You got to know what it feels like to not get your prayers answered but still have a prayer life. You got to know what it feels of having inequitable education opportunities. 300 years of medical apartheid. Now Target, Walmart, McDonald's, John Deere, Amazon feel like this is going to break us. This is not our first rodeo. But the thing that they can't understand is after everything that we've been through, we still got our hope, still got our joy, still got our peace, and we still got our relationship with God. Come on, I can't hear anybody. Do you understand the mental torture you've been through in the last 45 days? Mental torture you've been through. That now segregation is legal again. The emotional torture you've been through. That every police officer's record has been cleaned. The torture that you've been through. That now teachers got to second guess, can they teach their own history to students that look like them without losing their funding? Can you imagine the torture that you've been through just in the last 45 days? That many of you, your children will no longer receive free lunch beginning in August. The torture that you've been through. That there is absolutely no sympathy or grace for veterans or for seniors. The torture that you've been through. But be not dismayed. Whatever the tide, God will. He'll take care of you. When you've been picked on, harassed, and bullied for so long, you begin to feel helpless. James Weldon Johnson said, God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, the one who's brought us thus far along the way. 300 years of degradation. 300 years of being marginalized and ostracized. 300 years of being castrated and lynched. Was utilizing the idea of moral imagination. Moral imagination is the ability to anticipate or project yourself in the middle of a moral dilemma. Not even having reached adolescence, she figured that segregation